This is gonna blow your mind. Welcome to Global Sky Update. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. For years, the Philippines seemed destined to lose ground in the South China Sea, overshadowed by China's might and relentless expansion. Chinese fishing fleets and Coast Guard ships operated freely, while Manila's older navy struggled to keep up. But then, a shift. The Philippines, under new leadership, refused to play the victim. Instead of relying solely on military strength, Manila turned to international law, alliances, and the power of global opinion. The government began documenting every Chinese incursion, using cameras and social media as tools of defense. Old alliances were revived, new partnerships forged, and the nation's strategic geography became its greatest asset. Suddenly, the Philippines was no longer isolated. It was a key player in the Indo-Pacific, its actions watched by the world. What was once a local dispute became a test of international law and order. The Philippines started making bold moves, forcing China to respond and showing that even smaller nations can shape the course of history. The underdog had found its voice, and its defiance was echoing across the globe.
The Philippines' first act of defiance wasn't at sea, but in a European courtroom. In 2013, Manila challenged China's sweeping 9-dash line at the Permanent Court of Arbitration, under UNCLOS. Many doubted the move, especially since China refused to participate. But in 2016, the tribunal ruled decisively for the Philippines, declaring China's claims baseless and its actions illegal. This legal victory gave Manila a powerful tool, one that couldn't be erased, even if Beijing ignored it. The ruling became a rallying cry, reframing the conflict as a violation of international law, not just a local spat. Even when political winds shifted, the legal precedent stood firm, ready to be wielded by new leaders. Diplomats cited the ruling worldwide, putting China on the defensive and winning support from nations that value a rules-based order. The Philippines was no longer just defending its waters. It was defending the principle of law itself. By grounding its fight in the Hague ruling, Manila elevated its cause to a global concern. The world began to rally behind the Philippines' stand.
With its legal win, the Philippines launched a new strategy: radical transparency. Journalists embedded with the Coast Guard documented every Chinese encounter, sharing real-time footage with the world. High-definition videos showed Chinese ships harassing Filipino vessels, making Beijing's actions impossible to deny. These images galvanized public opinion at home and abroad, turning abstract disputes into visceral stories. Filipinos demanded action, while international audiences saw undeniable proof of China's aggression. The evidence broadcast on social media and news channels shifted the narrative from he said, she said to undeniable fact. China's overwhelming presence became a PR liability, as every act of bullying was exposed. If Beijing escalated, it faced global condemnation. If it backed down, it looked weak. The Philippines had weaponized information, leveling the playing field with 21st century tools. This asymmetric strategy proved that controlling the narrative could be as powerful as controlling the seas. The world could no longer look away.
On August 5, 2023, the Philippines' transparency strategy reached a climax. a Chinese Coast Guard ship blasted a small Filipino supply boat with a water cannon near 2nd Thomas Shoal, caught on camera from every angle. The footage went viral, showing the world the raw imbalance of power.
It was a PR disaster for Beijing, the clearest evidence yet of bullying at sea. Global reaction was swift. The US condemned the attack, reaffirming its defense commitments. The EU, Japan, Australia, and others voiced strong support for Manila. Quiet diplomatic backing turned into loud, public solidarity. China's attempt to intimidate the Philippines backfired, uniting its allies. The incident hardened resolve in Manila and accelerated security cooperation with partners. For Washington and others, it erased any doubt about the threat China posed. The footage gave political cover for deeper military ties. What was meant as intimidation became a turning point, pushing the Philippines into the heart of a growing coalition. China's aggression had sparked a global response.
Manila's new assertiveness and China's aggression revived the US-Philippines alliance. In 2023, the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement expanded, granting the US access to 4 new bases, 3 near Taiwan, 1 facing the South China Sea. This move put US forces within striking distance of key flashpoints, fundamentally altering the region's strategic balance. Joint military exercises like Balikatan grew larger and more complex, including live fire drills and amphibious landings. The message was clear. The US and Philippines were preparing to defend against threats in both the South China Sea and Taiwan. The alliance was no longer a relic. It was being reshaped for modern challenges. US support emboldened Manila, while access to Philippine bases strengthened America's Indo-Pacific posture. The reborn alliance placed the Philippines at the center of US strategy to counter China. Together, they signaled a new era of deterrence.
Manila knew it needed more than just the US. It needed a network. The Philippines deepened defense ties with Japan and Australia, creating a web of security partnerships. Japan provided new patrol vessels and negotiated access agreements, while Australia joined in joint amphibious drills and intelligence sharing. These partnerships turned the Philippines into a hub, linking US allies across Asia and the Pacific. Joint patrols in the South China Sea sent a clear message of collective resolve. China could no longer isolate the Philippines. Any aggression risked a coordinated response. This minilateral approach surrounded China's flanks and complicated its strategy. The Philippines became a linchpin in a growing regional shield.
The Philippines' value soared with renewed focus on the Luzon Strait, a vital maritime choke point between the Pacific and South China Sea. The Batanes Islands, once overlooked, now sit at the heart of US and Philippine strategy. By granting US access to northern bases and fortifying its own outposts, Manila turned the strait into a barrier for China's navy. Sensors, missiles, and airfields on these islands can monitor and threaten any Chinese movement. In a conflict, forces here could close the strait, blocking China from flanking Taiwan or projecting power into the Pacific. This geographic reality forces China to divert resources and rethink its invasion plans. The Philippines Islands have become a strategic dagger aimed at Beijing's ambitions. The once ignored archipelago is now a critical choke point in Asia's security.
Geography and alliances are only part of the story. The Philippines is also hosting new US military hardware. In 2023, Patriot missile systems and the Typhoon mid-range missile launcher arrived for exercises, signaling a serious commitment to defense. Typhoon's range puts Chinese bases and ships within reach from northern Luzon, introducing a powerful new threat. These deployments force China to defend against attacks from the south, stretching its resources thin. The US and allies can now disperse firepower across the archipelago, making their forces harder to target. This expeditionary advanced base operations strategy turns the Philippines into a network of sensors and shooters. For China, it means facing a 360-degree threat environment. The Philippines is now central to a modern deterrence architecture. The cost of aggression for Beijing has never been higher.
The Philippines' transformation has created a major dilemma for China's ambitions in Taiwan and the South China Sea. Once a weak link, Manila is now a strong point of resistance, forcing Beijing to rethink its plans. Any move against Taiwan must now contend with a potential second front from the south. Chinese forces would be exposed to attack from Luzon, splitting their focus and raising the risk of a prolonged conflict. Every act of aggression now carries a higher strategic cost for China. The Philippines has turned tactical encounters into global tests of resolve. Manila is no longer a bystander. It's shaping the future of the Indo-Pacific. The underdog has changed the game, proving that courage and strategy can alter the course of history.